Investigation finding a former UGA employee stole at least $1.3 million from the university's Greek Life office and a charity organization over the past decade. That employee is now dead, and the two other employees who overlooked years of theft have since retired or they have resigned. The woman that police say took all the money, Lucina Evans, who had worked for the Greek Life office since 2000. She managed the account for Pan-Hellenic Council, which oversees the sororities on campus. The account for the Interfraternity Council, which oversees the fraternities, and the UGA Miracle account, which consists solely of donations raised by All Greek Life, meant for the Children's Miracle Network. 11 Alive's Elvin Lopez spent the day poring over investigation documents. She joins us now with what she found.
It all started unraveling for Lucina Evans on June 19th of this year when the UGA Miracle office noticed they didn't have enough money to write a check to a hospital. The next day, Evans was asked for account statements and online access to that account. Shortly afterward, she took her own life in the Tate Center parking lot on campus. That's when the investigation began.
UGA police say Lucina Evans stole at least $1.3 million from 3 Greek Life accounts over the past 10 years. Both of the IFC and PHC accounts contained money paid by Greek Life students for recruitment fees and chapter dues. The UGA Miracle account contained donations raised by Greek Life organizations for the Children's Miracle Network. According to the police report, Evans took money from those accounts and might have used it to buy things like a Mercedes, Dior watches, and a cruise. UGA's internal auditing division determined Evans, quote, had almost complete control over all financial activity at the Greek Life office without any oversight or independent review. The internal audit also found the former director of the Greek Life office, Claudia Schamp, signed blank checks, didn't review bank statements, and failed to provide financial oversight. It also found the former assistant director, Elizabeth Petard, also signed blank checks, didn't keep track of who had debit cards for the accounts, and signed official documents without review. Police say Evans acted alone in the theft. No one will be charged in the case. But earlier this month, the Internal Auditing Division recommended Schamp be terminated and Petard be either terminated or reassigned. However, Schamp retired and Petard resigned just last week.
Evans had been working for the Greek Life office since 2000, but police were only able to track money stolen over the past 10 years because that's as far as the bank records would go. So police couldn't determine if Evans stole any money before that. Jeff?